Hello, Sea Lion fans, and welcome to this late edition of Cross Exam. Joining us today, we have Dr. Mike Dorrell, Professor of Biology, and we have Junior Libero with the volleyball team, Courtney Dyer. Dr. Dorrell, take it away.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us again, everyone. And I'm here with all of our favorite volleyball player. You've seen her out on the court flying all around, doing some crazy digs and amazing serves. She's our defensive specialist, better known as Libero. Did I say that right?
You did. Libero. Way to nail that one.
Libero. All right. So let's get started. So first of all, just where are you from and kind of what brought you here to Point Loma? How'd you hear about us and what got you to come?
Well, I feel like it's just an unspoken thing when you live in Arizona, and as hot as it is, you want to like migrate to California. So that was just, like an easy go for me. But yeah, no. So I'm from Gilbert, Arizona, really small town where I am from. I've grown up there my whole life, born and raised with my family. I have two siblings, one older sister who's a doctor. I have a brother who's the middle child, and he's living in LA pursuing acting. And then me, I am the child of the family, currently in college here at Loma. And then my mom and my dad back at home as well. And honestly, being a student athlete, I know all the athletes who watch this, the process is pretty much the same of deciding where you're going to go, knowing the coaches, hopefully getting recruited, and then signing off for a scholarship. My process was a little bit different in the sense I didn't commit till I was later in the process. I feel like for volleyball, at least for our sport, a lot of girls committed relatively early, meaning like girls on my club team back at home committed like freshman, sophomore year of high school. And like at that point I was like, I don't even know what I want. Like, how are you guys? We're like so young. How do you know? But John, our head coach, thankfully had been recruiting me since freshman year around that time. And I was like, no, like I want to do like D1 and all that. And I actually had a process with a D1 school that just was like really not the best. And so it made me just really want to value a school and a coach who valued me far beyond my athletic ability. And that's what John gifted me, of just wanting to get to know me as a person and see not that I'm just only an athletic person. And so that was ultimately my yes to Loma, and the best yes I've had so far. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, well, we're glad you came here. So what was one of the first things you kind of noticed when you came onto campus, whether it was with a recruiting trip or kind of when you stepped foot as a freshman? What are some of the things you noticed?
Honestly, entering physically on a campus, I don't think anyone can miss it, and that's Big Blue Ocean. Like that was it, set in stone for me. I've looked at mountains all my life, not that those are ugly, but I was like, I need a change of scenery, and the ocean was it. Another part of the campus was honestly the people who greeted me. Like they had no idea who I was, and I think that just is a testament to the school. They're just like, hi, hey, how are you? I don't know who you are, but like, do you need to ride up the hill? And it's like, that's such a Loma thing. And I just loved the environment, the people. Just really felt a home away from home for me in a community that I really wanted to be a part of. And so ultimately that was why I came to Loma, taking away the athletic side. So yeah.
Yeah, Loma's definitely a friendly, awesome place with lots of awesome people. But to your credit, you're a pretty easily approachable person. So I said all those things about your volleyball out there, but one of the things I love best about you is just that smile. You're always happy and always beaming. It's awesome. So
thanks.
So yeah, so now talk me through kind of that freshman year. So I know you're a freshman.
You know this one too well.
And so kind of what were some things that maybe surprised you or things you learned, and what are some advice you might give to freshmen coming, kind of what to expect and how to do well?
I would say don't come into freshman year as a knucklehead, meaning like don't think that you have everything planned out. Because, I mean, you saw this firsthand. I thought I was going to be a bio major. I was so determined. I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it. And then it like, grades, everything. I was like, this is not what God intended for me. Like my heart's not in it. And you sat me down and you're like, what do you want to do? Like, are you passionate? Do you love it? And you're like, I was like, no, like you ultimately helped me with like finding other passions. And I would just guide other freshmen of experience other classes. I mean, if you know what you want and have your passion, that's great. That was not for me in my educational process up until now, junior year. I'm still on track, thankfully, being a business major. That's what I switched to. I was a bio major my first semester here at Loma as a freshman, and then switched to business. But I would just say keep the doors open. You never know what opportunity or, going to come your way. So that would be my piece of advice to freshmen or anybody, honestly. So it's never too late.
Yeah. So aside from kind of the personal reflection and just realizing, a change was needed and that's your passions lied elsewhere, how difficult or actually easy, if that's the case, was it to switch your major, or was it kind of on the academic side? How difficult was that?
Oh, for me, I think it was a mental process. It was hard. Like, I saw it at first, I gave up, and like, I think that's just my personality, like giving up. I was like, oh my gosh, like, I am not good enough for this. Like, how am I supposed to get another major? And through like much talking with God and just figuring that out, that is not the case. I am not a child of God based on my grades or anything. And so I came to learn that, through whatever you pick, as long as you're happy and you're passionate about it, you'll find a way to make it work for you. So yeah.
Yeah. And for all you out there, this is Courtney's interview, but she's being modest. She was also in my office a lot, and she knows how to work and kind of get those grades. So you can do it. And your grades you're doing quite well. So good job.
Thanks.
I'm glad it's working out. So not that we should ever grow up, but what do you want to do when you grow up then? Kind of, what do you have those goals in mind at this point? You still have a year and a half left. But.
Yeah, no, I'm between two different things. Right now with the course of business, there's so many options I could go with it, but currently law school is what I'm wanting to go for. And the other side is fashion, which I'm super passionate about, but mixing those together, you can actually do fashion law, which is something I'm very excited about. So yeah, I'm really excited.
That's cool. Teach me a little bit about that. What's fashion law entail? What are you?
Yeah, that probably sounds so weird, but think of more like intellectual property. So like you have fast fashion and like firsthand fashion, and people who like steal your ideas and put them in their storefront. And it's like, for me, like stealing someone else's like creativity and product in their own like, thing that they created is, it's just so frustrating. And so I want to be able to, know that this is theirs, know their rights, and that's theirs. So hopefully I can defend them and give a voice to those who don't feel like they have one in that sense. So
that's awesome. Yeah, in kind of my world, I guess that would be very similar to the patent law, and so there's a lot of need for that, especially maybe people that come from underprivileged backgrounds or don't have kind of the ability to fight for themselves, and kind of with other people that have greater resources to do those unethical.
Most definitely. And patent law definitely is a category that like definitely runs under fashion law, and like copyright, all of that is funneled into the same category. So yeah.
So for fear of kind of changing the mood a little bit, I know Point Loma recently lost one of our own, awesome person, Dr. Ryan Botts, and I know that he is very much missed and from all of us. But I know you two are close. I know he was your faculty escort for one of the seasons. So I just wanted to give you a chance to talk a little bit about Ryan Botts and what he meant to you, and give a shout out.
Bots. I remember, so I had bots for 2 semesters of math in calculus and statistics. And I just remember walking in my first time to calculus, and he's such like a tall guy, like total worker boots, plaid shirt. Like that was so bots, like just quiet, like definitely had a personality of like just this fun, exuberant person, but like wasn't sure like how to keen that in on like a class setting. And my roommate and I, Rachel, who's actually on the volleyball team, we would stay after and just have these conversations with him. And like each time he would just share a little bit more about himself, and come to find out like he was this insane like triathlon, like would run insane amount of miles each day, like just was so active. And he was on his own volleyball team, his club volleyball team at Cal Poly, which was super cool. So it was a really fun little connection there. And he really showed interests, not only just as in my education of like wanting to make sure that like I'm doing the best that I can and that I'm really learning the material, but really cared about my interests, which was volleyball, and always asking like, how's the games going? Like, I'm cheering on for you. Like, would send me emails about like, how are you doing? Like, what can I be praying for you for? And, you know, he was just that guy. He put others before himself and really cared about you as an individual and student. And that was something really special. And so I'm glad that our time was limited. I really got to know Bots, and he was an exceptional human being and teacher. So I'm thankful that Loma had him as a faculty member.
Absolutely. Yeah, he was an awesome friend, and he was one of those people, as you said, that despite how busy he was at the time, whatever your problem was the only thing in the world that mattered to him, and it was pretty amazing that way. So yeah, thanks for that. So having been a student athlete myself way back when, I don't want to say how long ago, I know the balancing time and kind of the time commitments and everything. So how do you do that? So how do you balance your time between all that it takes to be a great volleyball player and also a good student?
I would say I didn't learn it right away. The excitement of college as a freshman and wanting to do this and that and everything definitely had its detriments. But as the years go on, I've learned a good balance of, especially now knowing what I want to do and just being motivated in that aspect. It's really pushed me academically of like, okay, I need to sit down, like I've got an hour here and then I've got rehab for my ankle or whatever in an hour. So like, this is your time right now. Two, just trying to prioritize sleep. That's been like really like at the top of my list, trying to make sure I balance that way because I see a difference in my performance that way. But yeah, it's a constant process as you get things thrown into the mix. But as of right now, it's going pretty well. But ask me that in a few weeks and I don't know. But yeah.
So there's a lot of things you learn as a student athlete. And what are some of those things that you think you've learned that you are going to take with you when you become the world's best fashion law?
Hopefully. I would say hard work. Not even just in the beginning, but keeping that hard work consistent. Something as an athlete is we're taught about patience of, oh, especially right now, this is a season of patience, and our hard work may be hard to see right now that it may not be paying off, but later on when hopefully we get a season, all of that, you know, little time fragments that are together for practice and us working really hard and working out will pay off. And so it's that hard work, consistency, and most definitely patience is something that's going to be taken away far beyond my years. So I'm excited to see where those variables kind of come into my life later on down the road past athletics. So,
yeah, speaking of hard work and patience, you've had a couple injuries recently. So how are you dealing kind of with the rehab and how's that going for you?
Yeah, no, it's at the beginning it was hard just because coming back, like the purpose was to practice. And so when you have a setback of almost a month off, that was kind of frustrating. But as like a lot of the physical therapists and my coach said, there's no rush coming back. Like we want to make sure it's 100%. We don't have season right now, so there's no point in you taping up and not feeling 100%. And so that alone is, you know, been really, patience has been the key. So through those 4 weeks, but the injury's been getting better. I'm thankfully back to practices. This is my first week fully back. I haven't felt too much pain, so it was good. I just had a micro tear on some of my ligaments, but other than that, and a pretty bad sprain, but I healed relatively quickly, so I'm really thankful for that.
Good. Well, and you've kept very positive, all things considered, through it all. So well done. Awesome. I hope it, yeah, well, I know it's tough at times, but I hope it keeps going real well for you. And
yeah,
back better than ever real soon.
Heck yes, let's hope.
So what are the goals for the senior year now then?
Goals for senior year.
The junior year's done, but looking forward.
I know, right? My goal is to, in the terms of athletics, to leave everything I have on the court. If I've learned anything, it's that having 1 year taken away, the first 2 years flew by, and so did this third year. And you know, you can always say like, oh, I'm going to cherish these 2 years, but then the fourth year comes and it's like, man, I really have to make sure I'm doing all that I can to really cherish these memories with my team and just the play sense and all of that. And so making sure that I'm just playing the best that I can and having fun, and making sure that I'm uplifting other girls too that have more years than I do, and they enjoy and they build a program that they're proud of on things that they love. And so that's something. And in terms of academics, just doing the best that I can, working for my GPA as high as I can, and just, really getting to know my professors too, because I think those connections are what are important to me, far beyond just the grade too. So, yeah.
Awesome. All right, rapid fire. Most exciting game you've ever been a part of?
Oh my gosh, APU last year for Dig Pink. Like how Danny totally put all the pink on one side, because we always have 5 fans at the games, but that's okay. Those 5 fans are loyal. But
Hey,
it
I
was
was
great.
there. That game was awesome.
You're right. You brought Ethan, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's what I thought. But no, it was great. But I would have to say a second game, this is so embarrassing, I'm gonna expose myself, but freshman year, we were playing Holy Names, which is, I hope they see this, probably the worst team in our division. And I guess one of their hitters just decided to really just have a great hit, and my hands just didn't go up fast enough. And I got a bloody nose on the court. So those would have to be my top 2 games that were probably fun to play again. So creates for great memories.
Nice. Any pets?
I have 1 dog, and she's a black lab.
All right. What's your hobby when you're not playing volleyball or studying?
Oh, I really enjoy sewing. It's kind of hard here at school, but at school would be hanging out with friends and stuff. So.
Yeah. Well, I guess sewing fits with that fashion.
Yes.
All right. Favorite show to binge if you're stuck quarantine for COVID?
Oh gosh, currently I'm watching it's kind of like Grey's Anatomy. It's a sub off of, it's called Private Practice, the medical show. Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, that's all I have for you. And as I understand it, you get a chance at a couple question revenge here. So
I do. Okay, all the viewers out there, Professor Dorrell has an amazing son, Ethan. He's still playing soccer, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's he doing through the pandemic? What's up with him? What has he been up to?
Yeah, so it's been tough a little bit at first because, I mean, as you know, I'm sure with volleyball, soccer is his thing. And so not being able to do it for a long time was pretty tough. But they got back practicing probably almost 3 or 4 months ago, kind of non-contact. So at first it was just a glorified passing the ball around. But since then, they've gotten a little bit more competitive in that regard, and so they've actually started playing games. And in fact, we unfortunately we have to travel to Las Vegas quite a bit to play games because they're not allowed to play them in California.
Oh,
so
darn.
we ended up in Vegas some, but he's getting to play those games, and we're starting to create some of those video highlights for him for recruiting process because he's a junior in high school. So we're starting to think about some of those things as well. And so, but he's doing great. He's I mean, obviously I'm biased, but he's a good kid and he maintains a positive attitude.
He is great. He is great. I've met him. He is so fun. Such a great kid.
Yeah, he's happy. He loves life.
He's awesome. Next question. Professor Dorrell, is also very humble and probably will not share with you how much extensive research he does for so many research projects you're working on, and how maybe give a few that either you have been working on in the past, currently, if that's been affected with the research right now with COVID.
Yeah, so I still am working 1 day a week at Lowy Medical Research Institute. So we're still working on the degenerative eye diseases, and that actually is going quite well. We've had a couple breakthroughs, and we had a awesome New England Journal of Medicine publication just about a year ago. And so there's been some real breakthroughs on that and trying to find some treatments. The research I do here with students, we were able to continue despite COVID this semester to an extent. That's mostly involving cancer, and in various collaborations, one of them with Dr. Ariane Jansma, but just studying why HPV causes cancer. And we've started to make some progress on that. And the other projects have just involved trying to deliver chemotherapies to the cancer so that the side effects are minimized and things like that. So research is long, slow process, but I think we've actually made some pretty good breakthroughs the last few months. So
Wow.
fun. It's cool to see, and just little steps at a time. But yeah. Thanks for asking.
Awesome. I just know the difficulty, especially in California and Arizona, being closed down, being at home. I'm sure having to help with like Ethan and your wife as well. Did you guys develop any like new fun hobbies of being at home, or like you guys had like a tradition through COVID of things that you guys learned to do together? Or
Great question. We go for a lot of walks, so the dog is getting more exercise than ever at the moment, and dog loves it. For a while when Ethan was not doing practice, him and I would create workouts, and so we got really good at burpees. I still hate burpees, but that was his thing. So we got really good in the backyard to stay in shape while he wasn't practicing as much and things like that. And yeah, it's just real. If there's one good thing kind of to come out of it, it's kind of hanging out with the family. I think actually from a professor wise, I think a lot of us are probably busier than ever, but the downtime is more focused with family, and that part I hope to continue when all this is done, hopefully soon. It's the people that matter. I think you were actually the one that said that. It's the people in the relationship that matter. So that's
absolutely. Yeah. I think that's also trying to take a positive away from COVID is the amount of just experiences and stories you hear of people being able to spend time at home and getting to develop relationships and work on things. And I think that's also a beautiful side of it, and a good takeaway too. So it sounds like you benefited from that, and so did I with my family. So that's really good.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, it's always fun to talk to you. Hopefully I run into you soon on campus again, and we'll just keep
hopefully not on crutches this time.
Not on crutches. No more crutches. Crutches are no good. Yes. But good luck with the rest of rehab, and we'll see you on the court soon enough.
Oh yeah. Well,
maybe
thanks
not
for
soon enough, but soon.
That's true.
Yeah.